Hello, how you doing today again? Welcome to another episode of Ubuntu and Open Source. So as you can see today, I have my Ubuntu desktop. And I'd like to do a little introduction to them for those who are brand new to Linux or want to try out Ubuntu Mate and they're still getting their feet wet with Linux operating systems. So here I put in the main menu. With the immunity setup, it doesn't come with a main menu. And to get some of your applets and plugins, you just click on a clear space till you get this menu. Add to panel. And now, on the top panel, I can get these applets. And so one of them is the main menu. It gives it the classic drop-down menu of the Unity that used to be. And next I have the clock. I just moved that over some from the main menu. Then I have the weather report. That there too is all the way down here. The weather report. This is part of the about indicator applet complete. Then we got notifications. Oh, I'm sorry, the CPU frequency scaler, that's this here. So right now I have it set for on demand, but I could put on performance, I can be conservative, power save, scheduled. That would pretty much keep it high up, the CPU clock rate running high. Which it doesn't need to be. After that, this notification area. And then I have the system monitor. So I have mine set up to show here we go. I have mine set up to show processes, memory, network, and the load. And then on all of them, the width I set it all the way down to 15, so it wouldn't take up too much space. I think the default was 20 or 40 or something like that. I brought it down, way far down. Other than that, I left everything where it as is. And so that's the system monitor. And all these you can find in here when you right click and you get to add to panel. Including the global applications menu, which is next, which says panel. Then I added the brisk menu onto the top here. I took the brisk menu out of the dock here and I put it up here. And then over here to the far left is the Windows button applet. And let me maximize this here and see how there's now, when it's maximized, the Windows buttons are up here. The close, minimize, and toggle of maximize and minimize. Same with the global application menu. Now, the file manager is Kaja. And you can see now Kaja's menu is up here. If I were to maximize, I don't even have to maximize. There's my text application, Pluma. Now its menu is up in here. And now we're back to Kaja. And so that's how you modify and change and add and take away. Just to take away, just right click, unlock, right click and remove from panel. That's how you would remove items. I like the brisk menu there. I'm going to keep it there. So now is the left panel. This is mimicking the Unity left panel. And inside of it is a dock. And move that some to get an empty space, and now I can add to panel. So you can see this is the panel here on the left side, and there's a dock inside of it. And then you can change there's different options here for color, appearance, like the single bar here, all the way to the very left of the Kaja icon file browser. There's a bar. I could change it. Hit OK, and now you see it's a little square. Those are for the open applications. I prefer the single bar. So you can add the same and remove the same applets to the bar, to the panel here on the left. Move this back down. Lock it. Okay, so that's the panel to the left. Now the desktop itself, when I right click, change desktop background, this is how you would change your wallpaper in the back. This is how you change your themes. You can go straight to the themes from there and change it. Now to change the desktop icons is a little different in Mate. You have to go to what's called Mate Tweak. And you see right here it says desktop. That's the first thing that comes up. Show desktop icons. You can add a computer, take it away, add a trash can, take it away, your network drives, mounted drives, etc., etc., etc. Here in the panel is where you would change the look that you see on other YouTubes. Contemporary, familiar, Munity, which is what I have set up, and I gave it a new name because I saved it. Netbook, Redmond, traditional. Traditional would be the traditional GNOME 2 point something, I forget, where it has a panel on the top and the bottom for those who are familiar with the old GNOME, the classic GNOME. And then some of the Windows behavior. So that's the Mate tweak. And this is where you would change the icons on the desktop. So let's go back to Kaja here. Now we're going to explain some of the window parts. How it's the same or different from most popular Windows. That being Windows, Microsoft Windows. So what parts are the same as in you would find in the Explorer file browser? So we have the window parts up here. There's a toolbar here. In the very top, there's the window label or title. Then you have the maximize, the minimize, and the toggle between maximize and window minimize. And then you have this little window menu. You click on it, you can do the minimize, maximize, move, resize. And with Linux, you have the option to go always on top. So even if I try to bring this over here, my Kaja is going to stay above all the other windows. Then you can close it, of course. And now that I took the check mark off of always on top, now this will go on top of it because that's the active window or the window that's focused on right now. So what parts are not the same? Now, even though Windows Explorer has a side panel, right now it's set for places. I can have it for information of the folder. What they call it, if you're familiar with DOS, the tree folder architect structure. History, emblems. Now notes is pretty cool. You could actually type something in here. Now the beautiful thing about this is when I go up, you can see now there's a note there. When you click on it, there you double click on it, there you go. Just to get rid of it, just backspace, and when you go back up, now it's gone. So there's some unique features that's offered in Linux desktop operating systems that's really different than Microsoft Windows and or Mac OS. Put it back on places. So the sidebar has some same things and some things that are different. And in Linux, you can do what's called tabs. Go to so you can have new tabs, open a new tab, open a new window, open if it was the file, you can open it with Audacious or open with other applications. But you can see the default is going to be where it opened up. And with this particular Linux desktop, and where I have it set up with Unity, I have my global menu, which is not something that's with Microsoft Windows yet, so that's different. Custom icon folders. You really can't do custom icon folders out of the box with Microsoft Windows like you can with Linux. And all I did, I went to properties, I clicked on it, and now I can go to pictures or icons, let me find one here for you. Okay, so that's what that one looks like right here. If I open it, then I close it. Now that becomes the folder for that particular, that becomes the icon for that particular folder. Sorry, I do not want to keep that there. I'll have to figure out how to get rid of that in a minute, another time. So that's custom icons for your folders out of the box. Then we have the status area. That's pretty much the same whether it's Windows Explorer or Linux operating systems. You'll have a status, some kind of status down here in the bottom. Okay, so now let's move on to another application where we're going to find parts that are similar and yet different between Linux operating systems and Microsoft Windows. I'm going to unmaximize this. So what's the same? It's this top title bar of the window with all its buttons that are the same to Linux, and yet some is same to Microsoft Windows and or Mac OS, with the maximize, minimize, and the toggle between maximize and minimize. So let's go to write our document. The same thing is the same. You have the window up here, the window title bar with all the buttons. But then as you get into the application, things do start to change. So I have mine set up with the mimicking of the ribbon layout. So that's the same but yet different, because all the properties within the mimicking of the ribbon is unique in that it's to LibreOffice and not the same, being that it's not Microsoft Word. So there will be a navigational curve for things that are same and yet different. What is totally different in LibreOffice Writer is the right sidebar that you get by default when it opens up, and the left navigational sidebar, which by default isn't there. I had to add it, and I like to have it. But what you can also see in Linux, what is different, the menu toolbar goes up into the global menu bar. And so that's what's different in this desktop operating system. If you were to compare it to Microsoft Windows to this particular Linux desktop operating system. As far as LibreOffice Writer or LibreOffice goes, everything's just pretty much the same as pertaining to the application itself. But what's different as far as, Windows themselves, there's a status bar on the bottom. default styles, Word, characters, page 1 of 1, English USA. So there are things that are the same in that the structure of the application window has a status bar, some type of navigational system on top, as you find in the file browser. It has a navigational system on top. A left sidebar. The workspace that you're looking at in folders. So it's a browser, but you're looking at the folders and the files that are in the folders, which makes things same in its functionality towards Microsoft Explorer and Linux file browsers and or Mac OS file browser finder. Makes everything the same, but yet operates a little differently. So for the maximize this here, to this desktop, again, the buttons, the Windows buttons go up here. Minimize, maximize, close. So all that remains the same. It's just little tweaks here that are different, and yet, as far as functionality goes, everything is the same. Let's close this out. We'll close this out too. So, there you have it, Ubuntu Mate. Thank you.